this video, I'm going to be ranking all of Green Day's studio albums. Coming in at 13, we have Trey. It really just seems like a bunch of filler to me, so I don't really care for it. Uno is another one that just seems to have quite a bit of filler, in my opinion. It's not the worst thing that they've ever put out, but it's also not their best, so that's why this one comes in at 12. At 11, we have Father of All. I feel like that not very many people cared for this album. It was definitely more of an experimental thing for Green Day. And at number 10, we have Dose. There are quite a few pretty good songs on here, in my opinion. So, yeah, I liked this album, but not very much. At 9, we have Revolution Radio, which I think was a pretty good later Green Day album. This one really introduced me to Green Day and got me starting to listen to them more. All in all, it was a pretty good album with little filler, in my opinion. And yeah, I didn't mind this album. It wasn't horrible. Nimrod placed 8th on my list. Overall, it has a ton of good songs, and I feel like it's completely underrated. It's definitely better than some of their newer stuff. So, all in all, a pretty good album, just not my absolute favorite. At 7, we have Kerplunk, another very underrated early Green Day album. There are so many tracks on this that people just don't really realize are there. One of My Lies is one of them. This album also has the original Welcome to Paradise. Ranking on 6, we have Warning. Warning is another one that I feel is pretty underrated for the amount of amazing tracks it has on it. So that's why this one gets number 6. It's not one of my top 5 favorites, but it's pretty close up there. It's still a really good album, and for being one of their earlier pieces, it's amazing. Album 5 on this list is 21st Century Breakdown. Overall, it's an amazing album with an amazing storyline. I feel it's less talked about than it should be. American Idiot is obviously way more known than this album, but since this one came right after, not many people talk about it. It's a really good album, though. Number 4 on this list is 39 Smooth, which is Green Day's debut album. It's really not recognized as much, and it's a really good album, so it definitely deserves more attention than it gets. There are some really great tracks on here, and this does not have Trey in it. It has John Meyer, their original drummer. At 3, we have Green Day's breakthrough album, which would be Dookie. This was their 3rd released album, but this is the one that really hit mainstream. It has a ton of really known songs on it, like Welcome to Paradise, Longview. It's just all in all a really great album. Next up, we got American Idiot. This is an amazing album, of course. It's really well known. It has so many amazing tracks like Holiday, American Idiot, Jesus of Suburbia, Homecoming. So many great tracks, an amazing album overall. So, one of their most known albums for sure. And at number 1 for me would be Insomnia. It just has an amazing fast-paced tempo all the way through. So many amazing tracks on this album. It is another one that needs to be more appreciated. Just an amazing album overall. Listen to it if you haven't.